Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer Jennings, your intuitive astrologer here in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you so much for joining me once again as we go through this very interesting time that we have been having this year, 2020, right? Um, 2020 is not perfect vision. It's really hindsight. And so these are times that are setting our destiny into motion. This full moon in Aquarius is going to conjunct Saturn while the sun is in Leo. So powerful. I'm talking about powerful past actions that have taken place are going to come to the light. With Mars and Mercury direct, it's definitely going to come to light very soon. Saturn is wanting reliability, is wanting to place restrictions on the future if so need be. Saturn is all about timing. Everything has to be perfect timing. The emotional full moon has work to do before taking another leap into the Aquarian age. So first, there are past emotional wounds that need tending to. The sun trines Mars, which is going to help us be more powerful with our expression. And it could even be more powerful with aggression too. Mercury and Saturn are in opposition, so expressing thoughts and ideas, anything communication wise, could feel restricted at this time. Being responsible in how you communicate, choosing your words wisely, taking into consideration the collective is how best to use these energies. Communications in the government can be expected to be the same, which is confusing and irrelevant. Mars is square Jupiter, and so its ideals may be challenged. Traveling could be challenged. Usually we're on the go. We're going here, we're going there for the summer, but challenge is that the restrictions that have been placed by Saturn are also being seen here to be restriction on travel, restriction on, the philosophies that you've held dear in the past. These are going to be challenged. Your belief systems are going to be challenged. So, using this Mars energy to give you a drive and to teach what you know with Jupiter is really going to be beneficial for you to be teaching and to, try to remain objective and consider other people's feelings and their opinions, because even though their opinions may not matter, it may not, you may think that they don't square up to yours. We're all teaching and learning from one another. And so, at times that you are not teaching, you are also being taught. And even when you are teaching, you're being taught at the same time. It's always living and learning. That's all we're doing, living and learning about energies and how to cooperate with other natures instead of trying to fix, manage, and control and manipulate and edit this nature. We need to figure out how to best cooperate with it, right? So getting out of this emotional anxiety of the future and just living it, just living your life. And because when we think about the past, we get depressed. And when we think about the future, we get anxiety. So it's really important to try to, especially going forward in this, the rest of this year, is to really try to remain in the now. Mars is also square Pluto, and so violence of some kind can be heightened with this energy. It can mean intense transformation, intense teachings of, how to better cooperate with your ego. And when we are edging God out, we are going to be more violent. When we have God at the center and we can take our shoes off and walk the earth, we're grounded, and we just feel a sense of peace. But otherwise, Mars energy can really, with Pluto, with squaring and challenging, Pluto, it can lead to challenging the hidden, challenging the beliefs of the hidden, and challenging the sexual hidden natures of people. This is also seen here. So Pluto will also be opposite of Vesta in Cancer. So this can be an end to someone's life, maybe someone in the prominent eye or government, maybe someone at home. Maybe there is something grand that is going to show us what this sickness really is coming from. So Pluto being opposite of Vesta, Vesta is that She is that energy that is the keeper of the flame of life, and she can also show up at the end of life. And so maybe, this we're seeing that there is an end to these Cancerian energies of, sticking around at home and going into your hermit. I mean, going into the shell like a hermit. There's so many ways to interpret this, but I really feel like this is going to be something big. Something big is on the horizon. And, I don't know if you feel it. If you do, leave me feedback. I'm open to really, I'm so open to communicating with my audience here and seeing what you guys think. So the talk of life and death will be at this forefront. Uranus will be square the full moon in Aquarius. It will also be square the sun in Leo. In the public eye, the prideful lion is challenged. And so that is what I intuitively wrote down, is that in the public eye, the prideful lion is challenged. So I'm not sure if my intuition, my gut is picking up that Trump is the prideful lion, but we will see, right? We will see what manifests, if anything. So this talk of life and death has to do with Uranus. When Uranus is square the full moon, and it's also going to be square the sun, the full moon and the sun are at 11 degrees. And I believe Uranus is also at 11 degrees. It could be still at 10 degrees, but nevertheless, there is new beginnings that I'm seeing here. That are going to be, there'll be endings, and then there are going to be beginnings that are going to be taking place, and that are going to be a shakeup. They're going to be big. This isn't Pluto, this is Uranus. And so Uranus is about the future. It's about the innovative future. It is the way that we are communicating. So Uranus is really about the natural communication of the magnetic field, but we use the magnetic field and we manipulate it with lies. That's the power, the prince of, the air. And so these airwaves are very congested, they're very sick. And so that's what I see with Uranus being square to the full moon in Aquarius and the sun in Leo. I see this square, this challenge, as challenging the magnetic field. So maybe there's something about the earth with the magnetic field, the energy of the sun, but earthquakes, volcanoes, I'm not sure, but there is definitely something that is reflecting the future of earth. There's this reflective energy that I'm seeing with this. Uranus is in Taurus until 2024, 2025. So the earth and her resources with our collective future is, for Taurus, a revisit of the past. So this check-in with Uranus, I feel, is strongly being neglected. The earth is Taurus. The earth's magnetic field is life. That is something that's being neglected. That is something that in our future, the innovative technology is, if it remains and if it sustains until, it doesn't, there's going to have to be a lot of implementation and innovation around healing with the magnetic forces, the creative forces that are natural to us. And these, all these cells that are in our body that's constantly communicating to us what is going on, how our system is doing. That is something too that needs to really come to the forefront, because modern Western medicine has really, really made people sick and changed the DNA, the RNA, the image that was once created in a natural. Now we have manipulated this. So that's what I'm seeing here. Uranus will have its return in the USA natal chart in 2025 when it goes into Gemini. Uranus was in Taurus 80 years ago. So in the 1930s, were very unstable. Uranus in Taurus likes to make sure stability, security, and sustainability of the future is had. So even though, in the 1930s, we can look back and see the instability, now it's even more unstable. And so these changes that were not taking into consideration in the 1930s are going to be forced upon us. Change that is supposed to be here, that is supposed to go into the future with us. If it's not here, it's coming. So this energy of Uranus is going to shake things up. It's going to get this ball rolling for our future. And whatever that looks like, whatever it feels like, it's open to interpretation, but it's going to be big. In the 1930s, the USA experienced a crisis with the economy. That's, the Depression, and the Social Security Act was implemented. So here again, we've got the 1930s Security Act, a Social Security. Is it going to be here? Is it already gone? Those are the questions that baby boomers, I'm sure, are asking. And speaking of the baby boomers, these are the elderly that is dying in our facilities. And so, the baby boomers worked very hard. They set up a security plan for them like they were programmed to do, and now it is being ripped apart. We are slaves, guys. We have really got to wake up to the corrupt systems. The decade of the 1850s led the Civil War with Uranus and Gemini. And like I said, the Gemini return, the Uranus and Gemini return is coming in 4 years. And so, it'll be an orb within 2023, 2024 is when we'll see these changes. But right now, this is what's coming. And so we have to be prepared for what is coming. And we have to make sure that we are not just basing slavery off of a color. That is a distraction. Slavery is no longer color. This has nothing to do with color. It has to do with enslavement of the mind, and to think that this great compromise, that this Fugitive Slave Act is not for the people of the world now. And so we, the people, have been enslaved for way too long. And this is what this time is all about, because the spirit being poured into us is being poured in this truth of the Aquarian age that we cannot step in to this age until there are certain steps that we have taken and implemented into our everyday life. And when Saturn and Jupiter, when this gang goes into Aquarius, we are going to really understand just how connected we are to these energies, and how this is so divinely planned for the coming back to God with our consciousness. So Venus is conjunct Saturn. Relationships of all kinds. Relationships will feel restricted. Our destiny is linked with the need to develop harmonious and balanced relationships. And so be sure your need to keep the peace does not hinder you from decisive action. And guys, also make sure that during this time we check on our loved ones that are alone, that are elderly. Hygeia is square Mars and in opposition with Jupiter. And so these beliefs, these ideals, this, traveling, these philosophies that you want to implement in your life is being challenged by Mars. And we're all wanting other people to understand other points of views. And we cannot make anybody understand the way that we see a picture unless we describe in detail that picture, and they can see it for what it really is. And they have to be willing to do that, because a lot of people are willing participant slaves, and they don't understand. They haven't seen it. And you know why they don't understand, why they haven't seen it? Because it's not their journey. That's why. Hygeia represents our health at home in the sign of Cancer. It's how we take care of our family as well as our earth family. Our health is being challenged, and it's expanding our ideals with Jupiter and how we want to take care of our health. What is it that we believe? Is it allowing for a pause to contemplate, to commune, to be still? Travel is usually rich during this time, but the systems network. All these networks are going to a global network. So shutdowns, resets with the networks does seem logical. Travel by the air should be monitored by using sites such as spaceweather.com to show the radiation alerts for your flight, especially if you are immunocompromised, because when you're flying, you now have spaceweather.com now has the radiation levels that you are going to fly with and be encased with for how many hours you're in flight. So that's a really good tool to check out, guys. With Hygeia in Cancer, more people are likely to go into a holistic type of alternative way to heal themselves and to heal their family. So we're going to evolve from this Capricorn patriarchal authority. We are going to evolve from that, and we are going to see that these Saturn rulers, this government, these leaders that we have relied on, have they are ruling our health, and you cannot sustain a civilization when you have power hungry, money hungry men leading your health and deciding for you how your vitality should come about. And this is just completely wrong. This is everything that is just so wrong. So, because when they rule, Pan shows it. Pan will always show it. Pan shows this with a pandemonium, pandemic. It's their MO. And so this is a time to broaden your perspective, broaden your belief system, and let some of that go. That's what that South Node in Sagittarius wants us to do, is let some of that go and really look at your belief system with logic, with, the duality of the yin and yang, and what you want to keep, what you want to let go, and what is just not working for you, working for your health at this time. Neptune is sextile Pluto, so social change is transforming in ways in which are very intense. And it points toward human rights with Neptune. Spirituality and the occult are given more credence or power with these energies, teaching us how to be more wholesome. To be wholesome is to have all these ingredients come together, and it's moments of wholesomeness that we feel. And so this balance that Neptune is giving us with, the sextile and Pluto is helping us to bring these social changes that we really need to bring this wholesomeness into our reality. And we're being asked to take on more responsibility. Who do you rely on? Who do you rely on to take care of you? And why are you relying on someone else to take care of you? So being self-sufficient, being less reliant on broken systems is definitely seen here. A lot of parents are going to be homeschooling, right? You're not going to be traveling as much because of the restrictions with the masks and the shutdowns. So being careless with your energy and how you are taking care of yourself and one another is being called to the light. We are coming to a point where we will want the government out of the healthcare system altogether. That means big pharma. There is a lot of people that are going to be losing a lot of capital, a lot of wealth, and this is going to really bring them to their knees, and it causes people to do crazy things. So that's something that we really need to keep in mind, is that as big pharma goes down and as the vaccines go south, this holistic and this, different way of doing things is really going to cause such a shift, and it's going to depend on how quick we shift. But the business of health will be more selective and affordable in the future. Every public place will have a radiation detector when the grid recovers, or we begin to use free energy and we reflect the sun's light back to it. Solar weather, guys, solar weather is going to be the news to watch. Everybody is going to want to understand solar weather more and understand the magnetic fields of the planet and of the human being and different species as well. We won't be long, and television is going to be limited. Internet will be limited. There are going to be restrictions that will be placed on this media. All harmful technology is going to be eventually done away with because it doesn't serve the collective in a positive way. These changes that are going to be forced upon us either by the upheavals of Mother Nature or we are going to implement these changes on our own. Either way, large earthquakes, volcanism, these earth changes are definitely coming, and coming quick. Before the end of the year, we are going to see earth changes. Cloud coverage, storms, everything, the electrical charges in the atmosphere, very unusual type of energies that we are going to see. Magnetic poles are shifting towards Siberia. So this is something to keep in mind and to consider. The sun and the earth connection is going to be understood on a very deep level. The leaders are wanting a great space age. They like to play these Star Wars, but the space in which we live has universal laws, and it's resistant when it comes to breaking natural law. And so alternatively, some of us are going to seriously consider, if we haven't done it already, to drop out of the corrupt systems. Every society is going to need, a reset, a regrouping, if you will. And so, this is what we are seeing. We are seeing this society shift. There's a huge paradigm shift. And we cannot lose sight that Pan is dead. And these governing bodies is going to be reduced as well, because there is a time and a place. And there is a time and a place for everything. This enslavement is coming to an end. And it comes to an end for us all, not for one race, but for us all. Because as the election draws nigh, there are many revelations. There's going to be many shocks to come. And we are going to see the slavery really, really come to the light of all people, not just a race. Because, when we go back in time, we can see that all races have been enslaved at one point in time. And so this is a time where we all release the willingness to participate and entertain slavery anymore. And we are going to seek to free ourselves from such slavery. So hope you guys enjoyed this. It's kind of hard to enjoy such prophecy that shows such change, but with change comes evolution. And this is not our first rodeo, and this won't be our last rodeo. It's just not, because we are energy. And so until next time, peace.